This is the Jose Soto Show, and you're listening to Intellectual Nudity. I'm your host, Jose Soto. I'm going to play this clip. Let's start off right off the bat with this clip. Now, this is Dana Loesch, CNN's Dana Loesch, on her stupid radio show, taking a call from a Christian who supports gay marriage and is criticizing Chick-fil-A. Of all things that you do in life is to criticize the almighty new temple, the new religion of American right-wing religious politics, and that is the new church that is called Chick-fil-A. So instead of crosses across America, instead of 10 commandments, we're going to have chicken sandwiches and the little Chick-fil-A symbol with the chicken. You know, the little red, whatever the hell that is, chicken. Anyway, let's go ahead and play that clip.
Aspects of the Christian faith to be hate.
That anybody would say that, two people who love each other.
Well, wait a minute. They were explain to me what is hateful about this. They were asked.
Well, here's the thing. We're not saying it's just hateful. That everybody has been focused on the radio interview and what Dan Cathy said to the newspapers. This whole thing started, rightfully so, on telling gay people, look, Chick-fil-A is donating money to anti-gay groups who also give money to these foundations who support the Uganda Kill the Gays bill and the Family Research Council, which was directly supported by the Chick-fil-A Foundation. They got money and they support imprisoning gay people. I mean, I'm trying to lay out what the correct discussion was. Somehow it turned to, wait a minute, gay marriage, and the evil homosexuals are now going after this poor man. We are the hateful ones because we don't want gay people to be persecuted or killed or tortured in other countries, nor do we want gay people in this country to be thrown into concentration camps or to be thrown in jail for being gay. Not even, what's-his-face, Grandpa Monster, Michael Savage, he doesn't even support that. But yet, well, I don't know, he hasn't really said anything about this. Who cares? But Dana Loesch is one crazy cookie.
It's a question. The media has been hounding them for I don't know how many months.
The media has been hounding them for, really? Oh, I'm sorry. The media has been hounding Dan Cathy. That's why he had to go and I mean, it's like that the media, and I'm very critical of the media all the time, but no, I don't even remember anything going on that week that had put pressure on Chick-fil-A or Dan Cathy to come out and say anything. In fact, Dan Cathy didn't need to come out and say guilty as charged. No, he didn't have to do that, but he did. Not only that, but what I think he was doing, and I didn't get it until finally one of my friends who is a Christian and is gay, I have nothing against that. I believe you can be Christian and gay. Jesus Christ never said anything about being gay. So I'm not really sure what the whole business, the whole, what the objection is. And my gay Christian friend tells me that he really felt bad. It actually affected gay Christians the most, what Dan Cathy said, because he used what my friend calls spiritual bullying, and when he used God against us. And that to them is more hurtful than saying, well, God hates, not God, what? I hate fags, or I'm a homophobe, or gays shouldn't get married, or gays are, horrible. That is not enough. What really can break a gay Christian's back spiritually is what Dan Cathy said. I didn't realize that until I had that conversation this morning with that friend of mine. But it told me, yeah, I mean, it's hurting me personally, what Dan Cathy said. It wasn't just the donations. I mean, that's what really got me going. And the donations were the main factor why I also told gay people not to go to Chick-fil-A. I was telling gay people, I wasn't interested in anybody else. I wasn't interested in having a national boycott. My interest was to educate the public, in this case the gay community, don't go to Chick-fil-A. That simple. Just like how Christians don't go to see certain Disney movies, or they don't go to Home Depot, whatever their pet peeve is, we have our own. Nothing wrong with that. But of course, you know, a lot of other gays have taken the initiative to declare national boycott and national day of, you know, whatever, yada, yada, yada. And that, of course, creates other problems. I'm going to get into later on about this. But let me just continue on with this clip.
Or asked a question in this interview. They said, well, where do you all stand on same-sex marriage? And they said, well, we are Christians, just like you claim to be, Kay. We're Christians, and we just believe in traditional marriage. That's all they said. So I'm not quite sure how that classifies as hate.
I think it's when you're trying to diminish.
Well, here's the thing. Just keep in mind what she said right now. How is that hateful, what Dan Cathy said? And okay, fine, it wasn't hateful, but was it hurtful? And today I learned my lesson on the difference. I never said personally that this is hate. I never said that. I just said that it's something that I don't want to be a part of. Now, in the past, a lot of people who supported segregation, they said it's not hate, it's just we don't, gay, blacks and whites can't get along. I mean, that's why we have segregation, to ease the tension. That was one of the arguments. It wasn't hateful. It wasn't.
There's the rights.
They're not trying to diminish anything. They're standing up for their beliefs, Kay.
I think that is.
Oh, and that's all they were doing,
huh?
They can
call it a belief, a religious belief, they can call it.
So you only subscribe to certain aspects of Christianity, then? You only, which is fine, but just be honest about it. You only subscribe to certain aspects of Christianity, then. I'm just trying to go off of what you're giving me right now. I don't want to make assumptions.
I would say, Dana, that everybody prescribes to certain aspects of Christianity.
Okay, well, that's not how the Gospels are presented, Kay. Kay, that's not how the Gospels are presented, though.
Out of the Bible.
Kay, that's not how the...
And here's, of course, this is where she comes in with her fascistic approach. Wait a minute. Yeah, you can be, a certain kind of Christian, but wait a minute. That's not what the Gospels say. I thought that Christian conservatives were all about religious liberty and all that stuff. Why can't they just live what other people think about? Why can't they say, fine, you're a Christian, you believe that, that's your business. Right? Just like how they demand that we treat them that way. But I guess they just say religious liberty for me, but not for thee.
Gospels are presented. You called me saying you're a Christian, and you sound like anything but.
As I think
so you only agree with certain aspects of Christianity that you want to believe.
Yes, it's called religious liberty, bitch. It's something that you people always espouse. Now, Dan Cathy said he's against gay marriage. I don't know why we even come up to this point. I don't even know why this is even part of the conversation. Again. But no, it wasn't hateful, but it was hurtful. How about that? Right? But I just want you to stick around, and I want you to see and hear what this woman, Dana Loesch, has to tell this caller. You're not going to believe it. This is coming from a Christian, right? A supposed daughter of a preacher, Dana Loesch. Well, she has a lot to say to this caller, and we're going to go ahead and listen to that right after this short break. So don't go away. We'll be right back. This is the Jose Soto Show. You're listening to Intellectual Nudity.
Christian, but you call certain aspects of the faith you claim as hate, and then you just told me that you only abide by certain aspects of Christianity. So I'm not.
Yes, it's religious liberty.
Sure. No, I know. Actually,
Now here's the thing. The caller never said anything hateful. You should say, fuck Christ, that motherfucker, that little prince that was dancing around the Middle East and talking about peace and love and loving your neighbor and all that bullshit. No, she didn't say anything like that. Here's the thing that I find quite interesting. She's calling the caller, what she's saying about the Bible, that she believes that it's okay to be gay. She's calling that hateful. Right? Hateful. And yet she's saying that it's wrong to call people hateful if you disagree with them. What a dumb bitch.
Have you read the Gospels? Because I am well full and prepared to talk about it. I mean, I didn't plan...
She's prepared. Oh, yeah, she is. She's always prepared. I read the Bible full and through. I read the story of Jesus Christ. No. Jesus never talked about homosexuality in either way. However, he did mention eunuchs. A lot of people are saying that that might be a keyword for homosexuals or gay people. I don't believe so. I think Jesus was really talking about eunuchs, people without any genitals. They were either cut off by their masters or something like that, because back then slavery was pretty much okay during the time of Jesus. Just to let you know.
To go church lady, but I mean, I look at this. It's unclear. If you have a problem with it, take it up with God. But I don't understand why you're saying that certain aspects of the Christian faith are hateful.
Well, what do you mean take it out with God? What kind of comeback is that? Take it out with God. I mean, oh yeah, let me call God and take it out with him. Yeah. Hey, excuse me. Hey, God. Yeah. Hey, God. Yes, this is Cindy, and I don't like what you said in the Bible about gays. Can you change that, please? Oh my God, is this woman ridiculous? And a lot of Christians that say this shit. Oh, take it out with God, which means end of debate. I'm not gonna hear your evidence. I'm not gonna hear what I have to say. Fuck off. Take it out with God. And they call themselves theologians. They call themselves knowledgeable about the Bible. Bullshit. That's all it is.
So you think God is hateful then? Because traditional marriage, you can disagree with it all you want to, but if you think it's hateful, you are literally calling Christ hateful. I just want you to...
And it gets worse. It gets really worse. Now she's saying that this woman is saying that Christ is hateful, even though Christ never said anything about gay marriage. And she's saying that people who support gay marriage hate straight marriage. Huh? Where did this come from? I mean, what the fuck is this bimbo smoking? Why is she smoking? So, if I support Israel, which I really don't, but let's say I support Israel, and a lot of conservatives do support Israel. You support Israel, so that means you hate every other country. Does that mean that you hate America because you support Israel? Come on, I mean, what kind of logic is this? I mean, this is a complete third grader. And how did she get this show? I mean, which radio producer that she had to give a blowjob to get this show? I mean, I'm just really fascinated by this.
To know that.
Well, that's your opinion.
I mean, she looks like she has like those cocksucking lips, you know. Ready to get that radio job. Ready to get that job at CNN. I hope one day CNN is off the air. I pray to God that one day CNN is off the air. It's the worst cable news network. It's gone worse. It's over the hill. It's worse than MSNBC. Worse than Fox News. It's that bad. And then they have dumb bimbos like this Daniel Loesch on CNN. Do you believe that? No wonder their ratings are tanking.
Oh, that's what you're telling me. That's not my opinion. I'm telling you what's in the Gospels. You can
You're not saying anything. You're just screaming and yelling that she's hateful and that Dan Cathy is beautiful. And I mean, that's what you're saying. I know what is this? I mean, first of all, she's not even letting the caller talk. So how do we know that she is being hateful? I don't know. This is another typical radio host, washed up radio host, a wannabe radio host. I mean, I don't consider myself a radio host, but I am a host. So when I start taking calls on this show pretty soon, I'm not going to be talking to myself. That's why I only keep this to about an hour. Because I don't want to keep talking the whole day. But if you just want to talk to yourself like this woman is, I mean, many radio hosts fail because they fail to let callers talk and they just keep talking to themselves. Like, yeah, the whole world revolves around me. Yeah, it's your show. But that's why you have opening monologues, and that's why you have all those other things, and you can talk all you want. And then when the callers come in, then you can engage with the caller. But this is just ridiculous.
Agree with it all you want to. K. You're essentially calling Christ hateful.
No, I'm saying Christ never addresses the gay community in the Bible.
And that's the main point. Jesus never said anything. The people who are making this a big deal and call themselves Christians are following the words of Peter, not the words of Christ. And there are other scriptures, if you say, that were not canonized with the Bible that also include words of Christ. I checked those out too. Some of them were from the Dead Sea Scrolls and other scrolls and tablets. And it's kind of strange that the Bible doesn't include these words of Christ. Some of these words are the same that you might find, but they go into basically human existence and human consciousness. It's a lot of good reading if you really want to know who the real Jesus was. Jesus was not this just hippie that was preaching and walking around Judea and did some miracles here and there. I mean, that's how they try to trivialize Jesus Christ. And this is what this typical Christian bimbo is doing. And that's why her religion is not that popular anymore like it used to be. But it gets worse.
You won't.
Really?
Yes, you won't.
Wow. Okay. What parts of the Bible have you not read?
What parts haven't you read?
Well, I've actually read it quite well. I come from a preacher's family, so
you got a preacher's
I'm well versed in
Never
it.
talks about the gay community.
Well, if you're well versed in it, then just talk about it. Show us your wisdom, great one. Are you at the same level of Jesus then? Jesus knew a lot about the scriptures. He knew so much that he could have advised us on homosexuality. In fact, homosexuality was well known during his time. There were Roman laws on homosexuality. Some parts of homosexual acts were legal and some parts weren't. So, why didn't he address that? I tell you, these people just talk out of their asses. Talk out of their asses.
You give me the chapter and the verse.
It actually talks about it all through, but why are you calling certain...
Well, it talks about it all through, yes, okay. No, actually, if you really pinpoint down the anti-gay quotes that have been interpreted that way, because you have to realize that the Bible that people read today, most versions are retranslations of retranslations of retranslations. You have the New World Translation, which is the Jehovah's Witness Bible. You have the King James Version. You have the American Version. You have the World Bible. I mean, you have all these other Bibles. And they're all saying kind of the same thing, but words matter. If you're talking about the Word, which is the Bible, then you're gonna have to know exactly what those words mean. And a rabbi friend of mine, he said that there's no, well, a rabbi friend of mine who reads the Old Testament, I mean, every day. He tells me, and I read it quite a few times myself, but he studied it really well and better than me. He says, Jose, Leviticus does not apply to homosexuals at all. And this is a rabbi who, but basically, the Old Testament was more applicable to the Jews than it is for Christians. That's what been told. But no, Daniel Loach says that if you support gay marriage, you're a hater.
Aspects of Christianity hate. Why are you calling certain aspects of Christianity hate? You tell me where it's supported. Show me verse right now. Give me the verse right now.
Where the gay community?
Yep, give me the verse. Give me the verse. Give me the verse. No. Kay, give me the verse. Kay, give me the verse.
I will give that to you when you tell me where Christ says that the gay community.
No, Kay, the burden of proof is on you to prove your argument.
Ah, now she's twisting the conversation, turning the tables, right? No. Me, the theologian, me, the wise one that knows all about the Bible, no, I don't need to prove anything. You have to prove it. You have to prove where it doesn't say anything on the Bible. How can you prove a negative? You can't. You can't prove a negative, dumb bimbo.
You called my show.
And this woman is on CNN? For real? I mean, is CNN that desperate? I mean, maybe I should apply to go to CNN. I mean, if they're willing to allow these kinds of goofs on, I mean, why not allow Jose Soto on CNN? But nah, I'm not going to go there. They have to pay me a lot to go there. And I'll bet I'll probably bring up the ratings a lot because I have a lot to say. No teleprompters.
You called my show. If you're unable to prove your argument, that's on you, Kay. Kay.
But you didn't prove your argument either, so it's on you. I mean, look how she screams.
Christ, but if you're unable to prove your argument, that's on you.
Well, that's on you too.
No. You just called in and said Christ is hateful. I want you to show me in the Bible where Christ preached hate.
I want you to show me.
No, Kay, that's my show. I'm sorry that you're unprepared to debate me, but you need to prove or I'm going to have to drop you because now you're boring me. You called in and said that Christ is hateful. You're not a Christian, and you just said you hated Christ. So
you're not a Christian. You're not a Christian. Yet, these are the same types that yell and scream at the top of their lungs. Religious liberty! Religious freedom! Fine, you have it. God, it's in the First Amendment. You have it. Now beat off with it. Masturbate to the Bible. I don't care. But she's saying that you're hateful and you're not a Christian because you support gay marriage. She's calling people hateful because they support loving couples to get married. And yet, you have Dan Cathy, who is a weasel, who is a very sneaky oil salesman, a snake oil salesman, and he's able to preach whatever he wants. It's not hateful, right? It's perfect. It's wholly what he preaches. But anybody that disagrees with Dan Cathy is hateful. This is what she said. So, in other words, she's blaming. She's doing the same thing that other people are doing that she is trying to criticize. Do as I say, but not as I do. I couldn't even hear this woman that much because this radio host was over the top. Yeah, you're hateful if you support gay marriage. You're hateful. You're hateful. You hate Christ. That's going to be the new meme. The new meme. The new meme will be that those who support gay marriage hate Jesus Christ. They hate the poor man. They hate the gospel. They hate Christianity because they want to allow gay Christians to get married. Oh my God. Yep, that's pretty hateful. And this is what we have to put up with? I mean, this is what we're against? This is what we're boycotting? This is who we have to convince? I don't know if we're going to win that boycott. And by the way, when we come back from this break, I want to discuss that boycott again, because there's certain things that we have to cover about the Chick-fil-A boycott. So don't go away. We'll be right back. This is the Jose Soto Show. You're listening to Intellectual Nudity. I'm your host, Jose Soto. This is the Jose Soto Show, and we're back. I want to discuss this whole boycott issue. Should we boycott? Should we not boycott Chick-fil-A? And as you heard in the last segment, in the previous segment, you've heard the typical brainlessness of the people that are supporting Chick-fil-A and that are defending Chick-fil-A and Dan Cathy. So what does that say? It means that you basically are trying to educate a bunch of brainless zombies, and it's a lost cause. The only way that this boycott will function is if these brainless, useful idiots, these zombies for the religious right, for the controllers of this country, because the way that they can control the country is to divide people and get them all worked up over this gay marriage issue. And that's what really pissed me off, because at the beginning, like I said, it wasn't about gay marriage. I never said anything about gay marriage. Jeremy Hooper, on the other hand, didn't say anything about gay marriage. Jeremy Hooper was talking about the fact that Chick-fil-A donated money, lots of money, to anti-gay groups that preach this idea that we should imprison gay people and throw them in jail. The other thing is that what I come to find out later on, and my gay Christian friend brought me over these articles and documents here, but I'll read them over tonight. I mean, it's a lot of reading to do. But he's saying that some of these foundations are getting money from the foundations of, like, the Marriage Foundation, the Christian Athletes, right? And what happens is that if you want to do something that is evil, or is controversial, or it might not sync well with the public, you don't directly fund it. What you do is you funnel the money, and you basically launder it with these foundations, and it's legal. It's perfectly legal. It's only illegal if you're like the mafia or something. But if you call yourself a church or a religion or a foundation, that's the key, the word foundation. If you call yourself a non-profit, you can basically do whatever the hell you want with that money. So what my gay Christian friend told me is that basically the money goes to the foundation, like the WinShape Foundation, right, which is operated by Chick-fil-A. Then the WinShape Foundation will give it to another foundation, let's say the Christian Athletes, right? So the Christian Athletes will divide the money up. And they will divide the money to like these programs, Christian programs, and then the rest of it, they will go to Wall Street, and they will invest that money. And people say, well, what do you mean they invest money? Christians are not supposed to invest money. Yes, they do. Google it. I want you to Google this. I want you to Google Arizona Southern Baptist Foundation. I want you to Google that and read the articles. And I want you to tell me what you think. Okay? Google Arizona Southern Baptist Foundation. The biggest fraud and heist in American history. right? Well, here's another heist, but it's legal, right? The foundations turn around and they give the money to Wall Street, where they have all these white shoe boys. They have all these insider traders, all these Wall Street insiders, and basically they use the money as platforms for or trading platforms to trade commodities or currencies. And I was told about this a few years ago by a friend of mine who is a gypsy, and he said that a Christian friend of his was doing this, that he was going to churches and getting people to invest in this platform. And what they do is that whatever profits come out, they keep. But the investors get to have their money back whenever they want. The profits are being kept. But this is how they make the profit, is that they invest in derivatives and credit default swaps or any of that kind of instrument. And what you have is that when you invest in either mortgage notes or hedge funds, whatever, which that's what the hedge funds are comprised of, then you can trade and retrade and retrade and make 10 times what you put in. So what happens is then the foundation gets their money back from Wall Street. Wall Street is where you can launder all your money and multiply it. It's like going to a casino. It's like robbing a casino. You see, you have all these chumps that come in and they play, legally. They play correctly. And they are the ones that lose the money, basically. Just like when I started to invest in Wall Street and some stocks, and a friend of mine told me, who was my stockbroker, he said, if you don't know what you're doing, Jose, you can lose all your money like that overnight. So, but these Christians, they have their insiders, they have it all laid out for them. So all they do is they go and then they reinvest that money. And then that money goes to other foundations. You could go to NAM, and go to Exodus, right? And now the thing is that Exodus is directly funded by Chick-fil-A. And Exodus International is an ex-gay group who went to Uganda and espoused ideas that made some lawmakers there, some crazy fascist right-wingers and reactionaries, to basically pass a law to execute gays. And that's what happened. I'm not blaming Exodus. It's just that Exodus was involved in this. They got caught with their hands in the cookie jar. I mean, that's what happened. So they can invest in other foundations and international, like the, what's it called? I had the name of a foundation in my head. Oh no, but they can donate money basically to the World Health Organization, the WHO, UN NGOs who operate in Uganda. And people don't know this, that the Uganda anti-gay bill, the Kill the Gays bill, that was all UN. The UN had it. I mean, I can see the fingerprints of the UN in that. And what happened was, in Uganda, you had a pedophile sex ring in Uganda. And many of these, I mean, you don't believe me, search it, Google it. United Nations pedophile ring. You find pedophile rings in Eastern Europe and the NATO countries. You'll find them in the Middle East and Asia, but also in Africa. And there's a lot in Uganda going on. So what the population there is saying, oh yeah, I mean, obviously, rightfully so, they were angry about the child abuse there. And you also had Catholic priests and Catholic agencies involved in this. And they were also involved in the child pedophile ring. And what did they do? Uganda and the Catholic Church the NGOs and the United Nations. Well, what they said was they blamed it on the gays. They said gay people were coming in and taking over their country. So that way, the blame goes to the gays and not to the power elite who are behind who are behind NATO, who are behind the UN, who have all these programs to basically rob the third world countries of their economic rights. And what happens is that once a country goes downhill, like Uganda, it becomes a totalitarian Nazi state, and that's how homophobia gets spread. Because once people are pissed, hungry, and basically disoriented like this, I mean, they can pretty much do ugly, evil things, just like what happened in Germany. So, I know I'm digressing, but I just want to give you the whole picture here. You have to know what's really going on and why Dan Cathy shouldn't be donating to these organizations. I can say this with other organizations like McDonald's. They donate to a lot of causes. But you see, what they could have done was, okay, you want to be charitable, then you can have like a house, the Chick-fil-A marriage house, just like the McDonald's has the Ronald's Kids or something like that, Ronald McDonald's Kids Foundation. And the foundation itself, Chick-fil-A, can control where the money is going, every single cent. And that's what Target does, Microsoft does that. All these big corporations, when they donate money, they donate it to themselves, to a foundation. And that's better because you can know exactly where each penny is going. Here, they're just writing checks to these foundations. And not only that, I mean, okay, let's excuse the part, well, Jose, we have to trace the money when it goes to Wall Street or when it goes to another foundation. Plus, when you give it to like the Christian Athletes Foundation, they can just transfer their money over to another foundation. And then that foundation will give it to another foundation, another one. And it goes down the chain until it reaches its appropriate destination. That could be the Family Research Council. That could be American Family Association. Goes to the pockets. Brian Fisher. All right. So I'm just saying that there's more to this than what we know. Yeah, we could do the homework, and when I'm less busy, I'm gonna research this more. But here's the thing: the question now lies: should we boycott Chick-fil-A? Like I said, we have to then sort of understand who we are dealing with here. Dana Loesch? We have to deal with bimbos like that? I mean, come on. Most of the operation of Chick-fil-A is concentrated in the South. You have 1,600 restaurants, most of them I think it's more than 65%, 70% of the restaurants are in the South. And those places are not like in your, liberal urban areas, if you want to say liberal urban areas. Because most of the hate crimes against gay people occur in liberal urban areas, just to let you know. But I would say that most of these restaurants are in places where not that many gay people really are out there, if you know what I mean. So would this be effective? No, I don't think so. You see, the plan was pretty simple in the beginning. I don't know where this whole national boycott thing, because if you're going to have a national boycott, what's going to happen is what you're boycotting against, the other side is going to try to make business with. Now, I think the best model that we have right now, if you ask me, is that we let the anti-gays boycott whatever the hell they want to boycott and let them lose. We support, if you want, I'm not endorsing any corporations or any companies or products or brands or anything. I don't do that here. But you can support whatever you want. And you can send thank you cards to Starbucks or whoever you want to send your thank you card to. And that's the best strategy that we have. It's the easiest one. Boycotts tend to not work unless if it's really good, it's really well thought out, and it's strategized. And not only that, you're going to need lots of money for this. Yes, you're going to need lots of money. And in fact, the only boycott I remember that the gays were pretty effective on was the Florida orange juice. Remember that? Florida orange juice. Anita Bryant. Google it if you don't know. But that was that was the last and the only boycott that we were successful in. Because that woman, Anita Bryant, was totally out there. I mean, she was, calling homosexuals every name left and right. But Dan Cathy is very sneaky. You see, they learned from Anita Bryant. They learned from Jesse Helms and all these other old school Dixiecrats. So what they had to do was to come up with a new strategy, and that is, of course, oh no, gays oppose traditional marriage. No, we don't. We love traditional marriage. We go to straight weddings all the time. So, and I remember some gay activists out there saying, oh, I'm going to boycott my sister's wedding. Don't be an idiot. Just go to the wedding. Celebrate marriage. If you really love marriage, then you shouldn't mind going to a wedding. Doesn't matter if it's straight or gay. Right? And I believe Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, they should go ahead and get married. Shouldn't be a problem. They don't need our permission. Right? I mean, it's commendable and we appreciate the thought, but it's not needed. And we can celebrate with you. I mean, we'll send you nice wedding gifts or whatever. Well, I'm not, but others will. Right? We're not against straight marriage. Where did this come from? That we're against traditional marriage. All of the weddings that I've been to for the last 2 years are all straight, except for one. So I've been to like at least 12 weddings, and I will say 11 of them were straight. So where does this I hate straight marriage, I hate Christian marriages, blah blah. The only church I will not go is probably the Catholic Church. I don't go to those to the mass, but I will go to the reception, and I'll celebrate. I mean, it's not a big deal. And if it's if it's a fast, a really speedy ceremony, the better. Okay, I don't want to sit there that long and listen to the couple sobbing all day. I love you so much. Yeah, I love you. Yeah, kiss and exchange rings and get on with it. Alright? Anyway, I just want to let you know that a lawsuit was brought up against Chick-fil-A for gender discrimination. That's up in the gayreport.net main headline tonight. So, that's interesting. You know, because they say that we don't discriminate, but here's a lawsuit slammed against the face. Mr. Dan Cathy, he's going to pay a lot of money on this. Because I read the lawsuit, and the lawsuit's also available on the gayreport.net. It's on the top link. But later on, it might move down, but just read it, check it out. But it looks like they're going to lose. I mean, there's a lot of evidence that they have, that the woman has. So, but like I said, is it wise to boycott Chick-fil-A? I don't know. I don't think so. Nope, it's not going to be wise. Boycotts are serious things. That's why everybody laughs at 1 million dummies or 1 million moms, 1 million goofs when they go out and boycott Google, boycott Home Depot, boycott Disney, boycott Ford, boycott, I don't know what else they're going to boycott. You see, because the gay community is being taken over by the corporation. The corporations that control the country. And it's just, that's how it is. And I'm going to get into that in another show. You might say that's good. No, it's not really that good. There's a difference when you work with corporations and when corporations are trying to take over and make you think like them. It's just really weird, and that's what I experienced when I was a gay activist. A lot of gay activists started to think like corporations and like corporate employees. Like the Human Rights Campaign. It's a corporation. But I'm going to get into that also in a bit. But this whole Chick-fil-A thing, I want to be very, very clear. It's not going to help if we have a national boycott. Stop, retract. Let's just say, okay, here are the facts. They donated to the Family Research Council. They donated to the Exodus International. And that's all we need to say. The other things that I said right now about the foundations in Wall Street, that's these morons are not going to understand any of this shit. All right? They lack the intellectual capacity to understand economics and understand how foundations work. Because these snake oil salesmen, these little weasels, like the American Family Association, Tony Perkins, they all get their money and they're pretty well off. They're pretty rich. And if you go to their meetings that they go to, I attended one of those meetings over there in Colorado Springs. At the Focus on the Family, I went there. And I was doing a research project, and all I saw was Mercs, Beamers, Acuras, and Audis. And then there were other expensive other cars. I mean, these people are loaded. These poor Christians who care about people, right? Who care about families. Families today are starving to death in America. 50 million people. That would be about, I would say, close to about 10 million families. No, less than that. Let's say 7 million families right now are on food stamps. And these people, their solution is ban gay marriage. We don't need to lift the economic standards of our country and help the working class, because the majority of families are working class, middle class, blue collar people. But they don't give a shit about them. All they're worried about is, do you pray to God, do you read the Bible, and do you hate gays? That's how they brainwash people. That's how they put you down. Because they want to limit your intellectual capabilities to look further and investigate on your own. They don't want you to do that. The preachers don't want you to do that. Alright? But as far as I'm concerned, we can say whatever we want on the Jose Soto Show. I can definitely support a boycott. Yes, let's do it, but I can't. If it's not successful, why do I want to defraud the gay community like this and say, yeah, go ahead and do it, when I'm not sure? I am not convinced that this is going to work. I will be shocked and surprised if it works. If we end up, hitting Chick-fil-A really good. But we're not, because their entire base of customers either don't know, don't give a shit, or basically are just a bunch of losers like Daniel Loesch, who don't give a, who are so dogmatic and are fanatics of this heterosexualized pagan theology, the worshiping of heterosexual intercourse. I mean, that's what they worship. Because that's what she said. It's in the Bible. It's in the gospel. No, it isn't. All this heterosexual worship is pagan. That's why Jesus never said anything about that, about gay marriage or being homosexual versus heterosexual. He didn't do that. He talked about how married man can be lustful. That's going on a lot. I mean, there are a lot of words of Jesus that are very true to what's going on today. But Christians don't listen to that. They want to go attack gays and do this and other. Why? What rewards do you get when you attack gays? It's not the fact that, okay, is it hateful? I don't know. Is it ignorant? Maybe. But is it hurtful? Yes. Why do you want to attack gays like this? What beef do you have? What do you get out of this? Did you get turned on? Does it make you more of a man? Really? Or it makes you a better Christian? I mean, you go into heaven if you bash gays? I don't really get this. I just don't. I mean, the psyche of these people. I understand their theology, and some of it's bullshit. It has nothing to do with Jesus. At all. It's all pagan, heterosexual, vagina, penis worship. That's all it is. And if you understand that, then you understand where the homophobia comes from. And it's ancient. Homophobia has existed since homosexuality has existed. So, but if you want to really hit Chick-fil-A hard, it's going to be really difficult because the customer base, they're really in love with this company. I don't know why. They probably are doing something to the food. They're adding some chemical or something into the chicken. Because I heard that KFC, they do something to the chicken too. Most of the chicken that goes to KFC, at least I know, are genetically mutated. They don't have feathers. They don't have beaks either. Did you know that? Research, do your homework. And I bet that that's where Chick-fil-A gets their chicken, because that's the cheapest kind of chicken that you can get. I used to work in the restaurant business. I know what I'm talking about. So, anyway, when we come back, I'm going to talk about the Human Rights Campaign and an interesting article on the Washington Post that I read. So stay tuned, stay where you are, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. This is the Jose Soto Show. You're listening to Intellectual Nudity. So, in the Washington Post, there's this very interesting article on Chad Griffin. He's the new head honcho over at the Human Rights Campaign. And I haven't really thought about him lately. I haven't really thought about HRC as I did when Joe Salmonese was the head of that organization. And believe me, a lot of hardcore, I wouldn't say hardcore, I would say genuine Stonewall activists with the Stonewall spirit, like myself. Gay people who really care about the gay community, who really care about gay people. I mean, the gay community is supposed to take care of each other, right? I mean, that's the whole point why we come out. And that's the whole point why we have a gay community. Is to support each other, have a network. But when there's certain gays who take advantage of that for their own personal, financial, political gain, then that's a whole different story. And that has to be exposed. And we did that several times on the old show that I had. And the Human Rights Campaign, you know, what are they doing the last 10 years? Can you recall anything that the Human Rights Campaign has done that really changed the course of American social, political stage where gay people are now changed forever? Or what was there a moment that you remember where the Human Rights Campaign really came in and delivered and really pulled it off? I don't remember. I mean, what has the Human Rights Campaign been up to lately? Before Chad Griffin came on, I know what they've been doing. They've been spending money. That's what they've been doing. They had these lavish, these little lavish proms, if you want to call them proms. I call them proms because this is all high school again. They call them galas, but it's high school. They invite the high school class, the senior class president, ooh, and they start to sniff his farts. Oh yeah, that was Obama, right? Obama came over to the Human Rights Campaign, I think it was 2 years ago, and gave that groundbreaking speech. Remember that speech? What did he say? Help me pass Obamacare. Help me bail out the insurance companies. Help me bail out Wall Street. That's what he said. Help me bail out the bankers, because we need to feed the bankers. We need to feed the Goldman Sachs. Hey, Goldman Sachs is one of your bosses, by the way. And that's true. Goldman Sachs, big banks, big fat cats are controlling the Human Rights Campaign. So Brian Charlie Brown over at the National Organization for Marriage is pretty much on target. He says Well, he said that gay marriage was pushed by big fat cats. That's not true. But to some extent, it is true that some organizations, like the Human Rights Campaign, a big one, the mainstream one, are being controlled and manipulated by corporations under Joe Salmonese. Joe Salmonese was a big patsy for the Federal Reserve, for the big major banks. He was a patsy for the White House. And guess what? Now he works for Obama, right? That's why he quit. And Joe was making about $400,000 a year. That's how much the president makes. The president of the United States. The president of the Human Rights Campaign used to make, I'm not sure if Chad really accepted that offer, but I bet he did. I'm not fully on board with Chad Griffin, I'm not. But Joel Salmonese, he was definitely a patsy boy. Definitely. I mean, he's the kind of guy that would date Frothy Santorum. Let me tell you. I mean, a gay version of Frothy Santorum. These people think that they live in another bubble. They can have all these galas and not understand how geopolitics works in America. And my other pet beef about gay rights organizations is that we have so many of them. We have Freedom to Marry, we have the Human Rights Campaign, we have GLAAD, we have, well, maybe GLAAD can be separated because they're mostly into the media. Okay, let's separate them. We have Freedom to Marry, we have Marriage Equality USA, we have the Equality Council, we have GLAAD, the Gay Lesbian Alliance, something like that. Allied Defenders. I forgot what the acronym stand for, but we have more than 24 national gay rights organizations, and I see many gay activists, my little gay activist colleagues, get pumped up with ego, and they say, "I'm gonna start an organization. I'm gonna do this and this," because what some of these people are worshiping is not, for the betterment of the gay community, not to promote more gay rights or to protect rights for gay people. What they want is worshiping of the system of a corporate type of a pyramid control system or control grid within each organization. You have the top, the CEO or the president, and then you have the board of directors, right? All this. And there's nothing wrong with having that. It's just that a lot of these gay activists that I have dealt with in the past, they were not interested in the goals or the mission of the organization. They were interested in, I'm going to be the president, you be the vice president, you be the treasurer, then we have the board of directors. I got invited to a meeting once. This guy wanted to start up this statewide for California, a California organization that deals with LGBT issues. It's basically like a GSA for college students for the entire state of California. And he invited me over for their planning committee meeting, and I was in the meeting, and we were there for 6 hours. And I'll say that about 95% of the time was about structure. Who was going to get what? Who was controlling who had voting rights? I mean, all this bullshit. Look, all you need is a president, a vice president, a secretary, and a treasurer, and a board of directors. How hard is that? No, but these people are control freaks. And that's what Joe Salmonese was. Not a total control freak, but he was somebody that loved and worshipped structure and corporate chain linked, kind of like a pyramid infrastructure. That's what corporations run on. That's how they operate, as a pyramid structure. And then you have the people on the bottom, your useful idiots. And most of them are not idiots. I mean, the people that I worked with, your typical gay activists out there, they weren't idiots per se, but they were just not all there in the head, if you put it that way. And I tried my best to educate them. Say, hey, we don't need a system like this. We don't need to worship a system. We don't need to worship a pyramid. What we need to do is to basically set up a committee. All you need is a president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. And then you have the board of directors. How hard is that? No, but you need also an executive director for this, executive director for that, blah, 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 all this bullshit. You don't need to do that. What we need in this country, in the USA, I'm talking about the US, is what we need is a national committee, an organization of sorts that is going to do what HRC, Freedom to Marry, and all these other bogus organizations and zombie groups, what they couldn't do. And what we need is original, grassroots people. People who know what the end mission is. And that is to get the public on our side. That is the most important mission. Not just legalizing gay marriage, not just get the public on our side. Because if the shit hits the fan, and it will, trust me, and people start getting angry, people start getting the guns, people start going to the streets, the last thing they'll look at is, oh, let's get the gays. Right? After the Holocaust of the 1930s and the 40s and World War II, the Jews made a really good case all around the world, and the populations, and at least in the Western world and Western civilization, we are now on the side of the Jews. And that's what we need to do. People are talking about, oh, look at the blacks, how the blacks, the civil rights movement. No, we don't need to go there. And besides, we pissed off a lot of blacks by doing that. The thing is, look at the Jews. They even have their own state. Israel. I'm not saying that we need a state. I'm just saying look what they accomplished. And the thing is that we need to have an organization that accomplishes something. What do you want in the end? Equality? No, think of something more tangible. You want votes. You want the people of this country on your side. And the majority of the people in this country, whether you want to subscribe to them as Democrat, Republican, Independent, or whatever, don't label them that way. This should go across any party line, shouldn't it? I mean, we're talking about our rights here. So why not just say, hey, let's get to the people, to the working class, through the unions. And we started with the unions, but then we stopped doing that. Because we started to hang out with management, by the way, right? With corporations and all this. What we need to do is to get to the people. We need the people on our side. And when I come back after the short break, I'm going to delve into this news article that I just read on Washington Post. Just a little bit. It's very interesting. Very interesting things. But think about that. What do you really want to achieve? If you have a national gay rights organization, what would it be like? A new one. And all we have to do is just eliminate HRC, eliminate Freedom to Marry, all these other petty zombie organizations. Let's have just one for the entire country that represents the interest of gay people, not only in the state houses or in the Capitol Hill or in the courts, but also at the voting booth. That is something to keep in mind. What do you want as a gay rights organization? What do you want it to accomplish? What is important to you? Is it just gay marriage? or this notion of equality, whatever that means. Find something tangible that is real, that you can hold in your hands, not just a marriage license. Think about it. We'll be right back. And welcome back. Alright, let's get into this article here. I mean, it's really interesting. New head of Human Rights Campaign, Chad Griffin, aims to stop losing streak for gay marriage. Now, this is something different. I'm not going to say that it's going to work 100%. I'm just saying that it's something really different than what we had before. That's why I applaud this change when it happened, because I thought that this is going to be at least something different. May not be positive, but at least something different that's going to happen at the Human Rights Campaign. Now again, keep in mind that question I asked in the previous segment. What do you want a national organization for gay people? What do you want it to accomplish? Because blacks today, you know how they say they're not really in tune with the NAACP, right? They're like, oh, what's it useful now? I mean, what does it do now? So here is the article, and it says, just a few months ago, this is on Washington Post, Chad Griffin conferred with British Prime Minister David Cameron over plates of bison Wellington during a state dinner at the White House in Cameron's honor. Now, let me ask you something. Do the voters really get amused or enlightened or persuaded just because you hang out with Obama and you eat bison Wellington? It's just, I don't know. I don't think so. How many people in America do you think are eating bison Wellington right now? I mean, it starts out like that, and it just tells you how, and you should read it. We have it on the gayreport.net. And it starts off like that, how basically the gays of the Human Rights Campaign are very snotty. And I think that's what it is, because they're thinking that because you butt kiss to the politicians, that they're going to do what you want them to do. No. Let me just give you a brief summary of what the Human Rights Campaign has not done. No ENDA, Employment Non-Discrimination Act. Right? What happened to that? What happened to the repeal of DOMA? What happened to that? Nothing. The repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell was able to happen because you have the Pentagon that was pushing it, and you have the service members, the organization with gay military members that was also pushing it really hard. Obama wasn't pushing it. HRC, they were on break or something. They were on vacation. And then, of course, you had Joel Salmonese writing a letter to the president saying, "We love you, but can you please, pretty please repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell?" The thing is that here's a couple of ways that we can actually win this, and that is integrate into society and get connected with the people. That is very important. So that's why I think we should drop the Chick-fil-A thing. Just let it go. Fuck it. Who cares about Chick-fil-A? Who really cares? If you're gonna stop Chick-fil-A, will that legalize gay marriage? Will that repeal DOMA? No, it's not. You're just gonna encourage more fat asses to eat more fatty chicken sandwiches. And then they're going to get bigger and fatter. They're going to have higher cholesterol and, right? High blood pressure and diabetes. They're going to die from that. That's all we're going to accomplish. And we're going to make more money for Dan Cathy. I think we should just back off. This week, by Friday, back off from Chick-fil-A. Just leave it alone. Let it go. It's over. It's done. Move on. We have a lot of things on our plate. We have a lot of things to take care of. We have the economic issue. We have the marriage issue. We have the monetary issue. We have the international issue. We have the AIDS issue. These are the, to me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 issues for me that are important right now. Marriage is kind of the same as economic anyway. So let's just have 4 issues. Economics and the international, monetary, and of course, the AIDS issue. These are issues right now that we're facing right now head on. People in our community are dying of AIDS. There are people who are starving in our community. You don't know that? And we're facing a great economic depression and a world depression right now. And you mean to tell me that we can have our best bets, putting all our money's worth behind a boycott of Chick-fil-A? Look, if you don't want to eat Chick-fil-A, don't eat Chick-fil-A. I'm not eating Chick-fil-A. I'm fine. Okay, I'm not losing my night's sleep because some other moron is eating Chick-fil-A. I don't care. I only care about what the things we can do to elevate and progress our community and our nation. That's all I care about. I don't care about Chick-fil-A. Bust or fail, succeed, I don't care. I don't give a shit. All I did, and all I want people to know, Chick-fil-A donates money to anti-gay groups like the Family Research Council. And if you are gay, listen to this. That's all we are saying. And just don't go to Chick-fil-A. That's all. You don't have to have a national boycott. You don't have to make announcements and make signs and go out. I mean, you have the HRC staff out there at the Chick-fil-A food truck in Washington, D.C., right? And they're holding signs, passing out HRC stickers and all that. You see, that was just really shameless. I would say that. It was just shameless. It was childish. It's nothing that I really would put my money on. You know? What did you accomplish today? Nothing. Nothing. All you made was that stupid hick, Mike Huckabee, come out and support them. Oh, also Frothy supported them. Who's left, by the way? Chuck Norris party is going to come out. I bet you Chuck Norris is going to come out any minute now. And this is what I hate, because when we have these stupid battles, you're going to have these brainless idiots, these useful morons come out and just say the most stupidest things, and you know what? It just creates more distraction. And we don't need this distraction. Why don't we just beat him at the ballot box? Why don't we do that? Now, here's the thing. On this article, and let me turn the page here for a bit. This is a pivotal paragraph here I want to read to you. Now, where is it? I'm trying to find it here. So I think it's on the 3rd page. Well, meanwhile, here we have Charlie Brown Bryan. Sorry. Oh, trying to find out where it is. Here it is, Brian Brown. By the way, Chad Griffin, I didn't know that he was working for Bill Clinton. He was a White House intern. So he worked for the Clinton White House. And that's, I mean, can't we just get somebody in the Human Rights Campaign that's not a political hack? I'm not saying that he is, but I'm just saying, you know, somebody that has no connections to people there. And I know you want somebody that has connections, but how about this? The connections should be more valuable with, again, with the people, with the voters of this country. That's where we need to go. And you're not going to convince everybody. And you might say, Jose, it's hard to convince the right wing. And yes, I know. All you have to do is convince 55%, 57%, around there, let's say 60% of the population. Once you convince 60% of any given population, you're done. You don't need to convince the other 40%. Fuck them. You don't need them. All you need is a strong majority on our side, and that's all we need. right? Well, here's Brian Brown. He says that Chad Griffin knows what he's doing. But Brian Brown makes a really good revelation here. But Brown possesses that Griffin and other gay rights leaders can, for now, only hope for. Quote, what we have is the people, Brian Brown says. We have the people. And people may not be glamorous as George Clooney, but they decide elections. But they decide elections. I'm not saying ditch George Clooney. He's a nice guy. I'm not saying that we should ditch him. I'm not saying that we should ditch Brad Pitt. Sure, we need them. Yeah, they're one vote, plus they have the money. But, yeah, they have the publicity and they can speak about it. And that's fine. Nothing against that. But we need the voters on our side. You might say, Jose, but the courts, we can go to the courts. What if we fail? What if we go to the Supreme Court and they rule against gay marriage? Or any other thing? What do we do then? How can we secure our economic rights then? You're going to have to get the people on your side. And it's better to have them now than try to struggle again to get the people on our side. Now, here's the thing. If we continue on the way that we're continuing with this whole Chick-fil-A thing, we're not going to get anywhere with trying to get people on our side. If Chick-fil-A is saying what it's saying, just all we have to do is make people aware of it, and that's it. That's our job. That's it. For us to decide if people should boycott, that's not our business. And these times, I don't think it's appropriate anymore. I mean, look what happens to all the boycotts that the 1 million dummies are involved in. Total flops, right? But yeah, here we are trying to create this boycott. I mean, I'm just not with it. I'm not with it. And the thing is that, gay activists are really giving us a lot of thought. Yes, I'm pissed off at Chick-fil-A. I think it's a really horrible company. And now that this lawsuit came out, more proof. I don't want to work there. I don't want to do business with it. I don't want to eat at that place. That's me. I have my opinions. And I can educate the public on this. I can say all this that I said today on this show about how the money goes from Chick-fil-A to Africa and how Chick-fil-A contributes to the homophobia over there. I can prove it. It's going to take research. It's going to take people to sit down and really listen and learn. But do you think they want to listen and learn? Do you think we're going to, our time's going to be used wisely? No. They don't give a shit. They love Chick-fil-A. Like I said, there's something in the food that makes it, I don't know what, that probably clouds your mind. And that's why I think that we should be very careful. Again, I'm saying, and I, Jose Soto, am saying that we should back off from this Chick-fil-A boycott. It's not going to work. And I'm not really in favor of it. I'm not saying that there will be a backlash. I'm just saying that we're just going to waste our time. We're going to waste our time, and we're going to end up looking like fools. And not only that, but we're going to encourage people to eat at that stupid restaurant. We are. Do you want to contribute to the success of Chick-fil-A? No, then stop with this boycott. Stop with it. You're encouraging people to do shit that, it's just ridiculous. I go on the internet and I've seen these tweets from teabaggers and all these other people. Saying the most stupidest shit. And this is what we are basically kind of instigating. I'm not saying that what we are saying or what, what Jeremy Hooper or anybody else is exposing about Chick-fil-A. I think that's great that we're exposing it. But it doesn't mean that we have to have a boycott. And make ourselves look like idiots. And then, the whole debate, the whole conversation now is about gay marriage. Where did that come from? We were talking about contributions to the Family Research Council, and the fact that the Family Research Council supports imprisoning gay people. That's what we were talking about in the beginning. I was talking about that. I don't know what Jeremy Hooper was talking about, but that's what I was talking about, and why I would not, go there ever again or step my foot in that place. That's me. If my friends want to go, I don't care. Go. Stuff your face with that fried shit. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. See, I view things in a practical way because I want to win. I don't want to lose. And this election year is going to be very important. We're going to test the waters on many things. Let's see how intelligent our voting population is, because I know both Mittens, Romney, and Obama are not that good. They're not, and gay people know this. They just don't want to admit. Now that Obama has come out for gay marriage, we don't want to sound like we're trying to shoot our own foot here, but we're not. It's just the fact that Obama was for gay marriage ever since 1996. Hello? Anybody read that questionnaire that he filled out? No, of course not. Obama was for gay marriage since 1996. And in this election year, gay people are going to be fundamentally important for this election. And the other thing is, how many people don't end up voting? That's another thing. I want to know how many people don't vote. Because that will send a message of how disappointed we are as a nation. So today I'm in my preachy mode, okay? Sorry. But we have Maine to look at, we have Washington State to look at, we have Maryland to look at, and you might say, well, what's so important about gay marriage on the ballot? And it's because we want to know if the public is on our side. That's important. That's why I want to look at that. And it's going to be important because we want to know if the public would support economic rights for every segment of society. That's what we're looking at. And marriage became not a building block of society, but a building block of financial importance. Because everywhere you go, everything you sign, every contract, every bill, everything has to deal with that N word, marriage. Marriage has permeated every aspect of our private and social and business life that it is so hard to just let go of it, right? And say, okay, well, we have civil unions or something. It's so hard. And it's not that we want to reverse marriage and just, take it out of there. You can do that by decorporizing. But marriage is viewed as a corporation by the courts. And the courts have been the one that always been defining marriage. So that's why if you go to the courts, yes, we can go to the courts because they've always been defining marriage. But if we go to the courts, we still need the people on our side. That's important. Please keep that in mind. I cannot stress that anymore. It's really important. If we get the people on our side, we are secured. It's like buying insurance. How about that? View it that way. I know you might say, but we shouldn't vote on people's rights. And you might be true. You might be correct on that. But it doesn't matter because the government, the courts and everything, they're created by the people. And we need the people on our side. Nothing else is more important than that. If you have the people on your side, you can basically have more. And we can continue to succeed. and the community will be flourishing and stronger than ever before. That's all I'm saying. Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed our show. I'll see you next time. I'm Jose Soto. For more intellectual nudity, join us tomorrow. And I'm out. Take care.